Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we'll discuss today's LeetCode problem that is the best time to buy sell stock 4. Okay, so this is the fourth level problem. And obviously there are other 3 levels problem and I will make videos on them as well. So this is a hard level problem and we'll understand what this question is asking us to do and how we can solve a question like this. Fine, so that's what we'll understand. So before moving on, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe to Learn Overflow for regular LeetCode videos like this. So the question says you are giving an integer array prices where each of the price is the current day price and an integer k. Okay, so prices and integer k. So it's like price I is the price of a given stock on ith day. Fine. So that's the normal array. What the array means. So that's simply represent the price of the stock on that day. Fine. So we need to find the maximum profit. So the idea is to find the maximum profit. Why you can achieve, you may complete at most k transactions. Okay, so we may at most go ahead with k number of transactions. So that's the key being given to us, and with k number of transactions, we need to find the maximum profit. Remember, this is not exactly k number of transactions. This is like at most k number of transactions. So that basically means less than equal to k. So that's stays valid. Fine. So this is the question asking us to, and then an important note. This is really, really important. So the question, the in note says you may not engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. So what does that mean? That you must sell the stock before you buy. So like the process cannot be like you buy a stock, then you again buy a stock, then you again buy a stock, and then you sell all at once. So this cannot be possible. So the thing is like if you buy a stock, you need to sell it next. Then you can buy again, and then you need to sell it next. And this unit continues again and again. Fine. So this is the step that should be followed. Now, let's look at an example. See, the first example given to us, this may not be valid for to understand all the conditions properly. Fine. So let's understand this question and like this example one. The example one simply says us that the prices are 2, 4, and 1. Okay, and it's like if you buy on day one. Okay, so what's the idea? Idea is if you on day one, can you sell? Okay, can you start with selling at day one? No, because if you start with selling at day one, you don't have a buy. You don't have a buy before that. You don't have the stock. You cannot sell it. Fine. Like you must buy before you. Fine. So that's the idea. Then, so for day one, it's like you cannot sell a stock. Fine. On from day two onwards, you may sell a stock. So it's like further you see on day two, the price increases. You see the price getting increased. So once the price getting increased, you see you can earn a profit out here. So what's the profit you can earn a profit of 2. Fine. And then from day 2 to day 3, you see that the price actually gets decreased and you cannot earn. Even if you have bought it on day 1 and you want to sell it on day 3, you cannot earn much, right? So this is the question. Now, for the question, if you look ahead with the logic of the k is given as 2, and it says like we can complete at most k transactions. So how many transactions we can actually do here? We can actually do one transaction, like buy on 2 and sell on 4, and the profit will be 2. So that's the maximum profit we can earn. So this is not a proper case that highlights all the counter cases. So let's understand with some other cases. Fine. Let me just erase up this totally. And now, if you look, okay, let's go ahead with this example. Fine. So let's take a timeline. So this is a timeline for us. Fine. And it says we are at day 3, like day 1. Then this is at 3. Fine. So this is a day 1 at 3, and then our price decreases to 2. Fine. So that's day 2. We got 2, and then our price increases to something like 6. Fine. So that's the 6, and then our price decreases to something like 5. Okay, let's just draw this graph. It will be much helpful to understand. Then our price decreases to something like exactly 0. Fine. So that's the 0 we have, and then our price increases to 3 back again. Fine. So that's the 3 we have. Now, see exactly what's happening in this. Okay, we can do a maximum transaction of 2 types. Okay, so it now what will your target zone? Our target zone will be somewhere if we are doing a maximum of our like max of our like profit, maximum profit, what we are doing, we'll look for local minima and local maximum. Fine. What is the local minima we have? Local minima is it's like 2. 3 is not the minima, right? It's like if we're going considering till this point, fine. Let's see, we have 2 local minima and we have 6 as the local maximum. So what's the price difference? Price difference is 4. So that's the profit that we can earn. Next is going down. So can we earn any profit out here? No. Next, we need to look whenever it's against going up. Fine. So whenever it's again going up, it can be like we can see this up. It gives us a profit of something like 3. So 4 plus 3 comes out to be the 7. Okay. So once you draw the diagram, it becomes really easy for us to understand it. Okay. Now the further question is, what can be done? Okay, how should our process be looking? But if we have already bought our stock on, let's say, on day 1, what is the profit that we're going to make? We are going to make a profit of 3. So if you have bought our stock on day 1, we cannot buy on day 2. I mean, that's what it says. Like you must sell the stock before you buy again, right? So here you can understand that we cannot buy our stock on day 1. Rather, we need to buy on stock on day 2 to find out the what will be the final like to maximize our profit. Okay, because in that case, the previous case, they don't maximize. So what will be our states? One state, we are here with like no stock in hand. Fine, we can have two things: either buy, like I mean, either buy, okay, and move to a state of having stock. Fine, H is I mean having stock, fine. Or you can, with no stock in hand, you can simply hold the position, like you don't buy or sell anything. You simply hold your current position and you simply remain in your state that you have no stocks in you. Fine. So once you buy a stock, you can have two ideas. One, like you can sell the stock. Fine. You can sell your all the stocks, because you need to sell all the stocks. There's like no unit of like how many stocks you're buying, how many stocks you're selling. So you can sell the stock, or again you can do something like you can hold the stock. Fine, you can hold the stock in the way you can like have a hold over here that you will not sell the stock right now. You will wait further. So this can be your situation that may happen. Fine. So what is the I like this is your state diagram. Okay. So either once you have no stock, you can hold your current state, living in your current state, and like holding your current stock like with no stock. So that will be our say after 3, we are moving to we are simply moving to 2. So that's basically we are holding our no stock state, that and we are like looking for a price decrease. Okay. And then what else? We are then buying our stock at 2. So that's a state transfer to having our stock, and then selling our stock at 6. Fine. So once we sell our stock at 6, we are again at the no stock state, and then we are once our stock is sold at 6, then what we're doing? Are we buying at 6? Are like what we're doing? We sold our stock at 6. So it's no higher written that you can actually buy a stock after you sell it, because you sold it. So why will you buy at 6? I mean, that won't give you a profit, right? Buying at 6 basically means you have already bought at 12. Because like if you're sold and bought at a particular position, like say you have sold a stock at 6, so that gives you a profit of 6, and then you are buying us at 6, that means you are spending 6. So what's your net profit? Net profit becomes 0. So that's not a case that we'll be looking at, like buy and sell at the same stock price. So that would not maximize the profit, right? Uh, and that basically means you are just holding your current state. Fine. So that's not the state we are looking for. So once we sell the stock, we are done with 6. Next we are moving to 5. So 5, we are again holding our no stock state, because it's like we find it's the price is going down. Fine. Now then we are moving to 0. We find the price again went down. So at 0, what we will do? We find there's a low price, like the local minima is found. So at 0, we will simply buy a stock. Fine. We just found a minimum. So we will 0, we buy a stock, and further at 3, we will sell the stock. So that gives us the kind of a maximum like profit. That gives us a profit we're looking at. Fine. Now, a few things you should know. Few things you should know is like why I was ignoring the case one. The case one is the K is two, okay, and the prices are like the price. How many prices are possible? It's like how many days are there? It's like I day, right? So how many days are there? It's like three. So in 3 days, like without looking at K, how many transactions you can do in this current situation? In 3 days, you can actually do like how many transactions? Either you can buy on day one and sell on day two. As I said, buying and selling on the same day is like makes no sense. So buy on day one, sell on day two, or buy on day one or sell at day three. That's basically one transaction, right? Can you do a second transaction like buy at day three and sell at no other days, like no other days, right? So in a price length of like three, does a key value of two matters in a way? No. So why is it so? Look at what's the minimum condition we need for like K. So the idea is how many see we need to buy at some price and we need to sell at some different day, right? So that means if our whole array size must have like half the value, right? So I mean half of the days we buy and half of the day we sell, right? That should be the ideal case. So if we do that, then what should the K value like? How many transactions should be possible? How many transactions? Like if our n be our length of our total array, then n by two will be our half of that, right? So half of the day we should buy. So how many transactions we can do is like our K. In case our K is greater than equal to our n by two, then does this K have an impact? It doesn't have impact because you don't need that number of transactions, right? You simply can go ahead with your current state. You don't need that number of transactions. It's simply the question of buy like best time to buy sell stock question number two, not question number four. Like we are at question number four, but if you look at to question number two, that was the question given to us. Okay, that exactly we need to buy sell stock for like whenever the price is possible. Fine, like a number of transactions. So that was question number two. And if you remember the question number three of this, like the other question of question three, so question three mentions this transaction limit to be two, like at most two transactions were only possible for all the cases. So that is question number three. Now, here we are just, they just change the condition to a K. So just look at this idea. So if K is greater than equals n by two, we actually don't care of what K is. But if K is less than, I mean, if K is less than our n by two, then all this thinking, all this process comes in, right? If K is greater than or equals n by two, we know that we can perform K number of steps. This we are not bothered with that because here it's just like at most K, right? We are not bothered with what's the how many transactions are going on. Okay. Now, what will be our approach to this question? Like, I hope this is understandable what we're doing in this question. Now, what is our approach? So firstly, we will have a costing and we'll have a profit of each of the days. Fine. So it will be like, we'll check what's the minimum cost that we can spend, because if we are earning a profit, that means we are also buying some stock that takes our costing. Fine. So our idea will always be at looking at what is the minimum the profit, minimum the cost we can go ahead. And once we are minimizing our cost, we will keep looking for maximizing the profit. Fine. So the cost should be minimized. And obviously, once we're maximizing the profit, we know that our selling price is also increasing, right? Maximizing the profit means the difference of cost price and selling price is increasing, right? So the selling price is by default increasing. So the idea is we should look again and again for minimizing the I mean the prices, and maximizing the profit, right? So what we can go ahead with it. Firstly, we will simply, as I said, we will simply have this state diagram, right? Two state. One that will give us the buys, and other that will give us the sells. Okay. You can take it in a different way as also. If we are not comfortable taking the buy and sell, take it like this: the cost we are spending for buy, and then this is like after sell. This is the profit that we are making, right? You can think it on this way also. So like after sale, this is the profit. Like having stock, you sold it. So what is this? This is the profit you actually gain. Okay, and you don't have any stock, you are buying it. Okay, what is it? This is the cost you are spending on it. Fine. So that's the idea. So how can it be done? Fine. If you move into the prices array one by one, okay, one by one, if you move into the prices array, and in the prices array for like K transactions, like less than K transaction or K transactions, if you go ahead with that, what will happen to us? We will simply have we'll simply keep checking that our current price minus our previous profit. The previous profit is the amount we have, right? Current price minus the previous profit should be like the minimum, right? The minimum of this will be our cost, right? The current price minus profit is like the one of the value, and the other value is the cost at this position, or current price minus previous profit. So that will be, that should go ahead with the minimum, and the profits will be like current price minus our previously cost. What is the previous cost we had? So if we subtract this, that will be our profit. So we need to keep checking again and again to just maximize the profit. So this is a pretty easy idea. So let us quickly write the code, and then you can actually visualize this the thing what I'm trying to say much better. So let me quickly write the code. Okay. I think this is like the 2 minute second solution, a pretty fast solution we get. But let's understand this solution, okay? Let's understand what exactly we are doing and what's going on. So if you're trying to understand this, why not add a print statement in between and see like what our current steps are doing for us, okay? So that will be much easier to understand, you know. So just adding a print statement to just note that the cost of I plus one, because this is the cost we are doing. Rather, like if you're we just see the cost at each for each positions after each traversal. So you will here understand the particular complexity as well, what's going on. So further, we'll just to understand this, we'll just add some formatting. Okay. See, now if you just look over here, what's going on in this? Say we just took a cost and we just took the profit, and we just make our cost to be the max values, and these are the max values. Okay, fine. Now what happened? We took each of the prices in our like the given prices that it fine. Here in this case, this one is going reflected there. Fine. We're just getting the prices in our given prices array. Now what we are going ahead with it, like doing with this is basically uh, something like this. See, once we have diagram, like what once we got like got our price, then we simply going with like I0 to K, like going for all the transactions possible. So we got our current price, and we're checking what's the maximum we can go ahead with all the transactions we are checking for. So we got I plus one. We are seeing cost of I plus one. Exactly why? So cost is K plus one. We are just making sure that cost zero is like because we need something like profit of the previous profit. Okay, I'll tell you why we need this previous profit. But since we need this previous profit, the previous profit previously we had, okay, so this will help us in something like the current price, the price we are currently at, and minus our previously profit. Like so, we are going ahead with I plus one exactly. You can see so I profits of I is like the previous profit we have till now. So once we're doing this, this is giving us a current price minus profit is like giving us the idea of how much profit we are making. Okay, current price with subtracting the previous profit. So that's the idea is giving us. Okay, so that's the cost being like if our current price is more than our previous profit, that means we are just spending that cost. Okay, if you're spending that cost, that means that's the money being going from us, right? So that's the cost we are finding out. So what exactly the formulation we did? We did the cost of I plus one is like minimum of cost of I plus one. What is the cost of I plus one by default? Is by default max, integer the max value, and then we are doing current price minus profits of I. Profits of I is by default zero because we didn't do anything like arrest the field, right? So profits of I is by default zero. So we simply had this thing current price was initially 3, and now you see 3 minus profits of y is 0, so we've got current price being 3. Fine. And for the profits what we did the maximum of profits of I plus 1, that is the current position profit, that is the 0 by default, and or current price minus cost, current price being the price at this position minus the cost we spend at this position. Fine. So it's more or less this right now it's 0. fine, because we are just spending that much money on it. Now, and there's a first iteration, and like we need to go ahead with k equals 2, right? So k equals 2 at this position, so we need to go ahead for two number iterations on this loop. So what we're printing over here, we're printing the cost of I plus 1 and profits of I plus 1 after each step, like after each value of k over there, and for each of the current price. So in the first row you can see that for current price to be the 3, for current price 3, this is the row getting printed. So let's understand further. So what happened further, we again check for the current price, like cost of I plus 1, I is at this moment 2, okay, I is at this moment 1, and the previous it was 0, fine. So cost of I plus 1 became 2, so that's basically current price is remains same, and profits also, profits of I, this previous profit is like 0 for us, so that's the price, we got 3 again, fine. And this way we're just moving ahead with it, okay. So this way we just keep checking further, and there you find that ultimately what happens, our cost becomes in negative, cost becomes negative, that means that's like we are not spending money from our pocket, right? We are just buying it, so cost becomes negative, and thus our profit becomes a huge number profit in like positive. So that's the idea that we are following to just have a code, or to just get a final answer or maximize the profit. So this is this can be idea if you have done by like the same question number 3, okay, best time to buy sell stock 3. There I will get two transactions, right? In the two transactions we were doing something, we had the idea of doing say we just took the first buy and then first sell, and then we took the second buy and the second sell, and we're trying to maximize each of them, like maximize profit based on the each of them, fine. So that we did in our previous question. So here we are doing the same logic. Okay, we are doing the same logic with a k number of steps. Okay, so that's the small change we are doing. Else, it is the same continuation of question number 3, that we are having the two like the two transactions, and we simply like keep on checking was the first buy profit and the second buy profit. So I'm maximizing them. Okay, so that's the question. That's the idea. So I hope it's understandable how you can solve this question. And if you have any doubt, make sure to comment them down as well. So if you are worrying about the complexity, so the complexity is actually a k number of steps on the right, and n number of steps, n being the length of our prices array, okay, in number of steps and the bottom. So it's like n into k. So that's the complexity you go ahead with. And talking about the space complexity, how much extra space you costed here? You simply had a space of k plus 1 and k plus 1 is basically 2k, 2 into k. Okay, that's the complexity of space complexity we have over here. Okay, so that's the space complexity. So I hope it's understandable. If you have any doubts further, make sure to comment them down. I'll be happy to help you out as well. Also, like this video and subscribe to this channel for regular LeetCode videos like this. So thank you all for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video as well.